Have you ever wondered how you can be surrounded by people, yet still feel alone? Or how someone you trust could, without warning, make you feel small, confused, or drained? It's a harsh truth that many of us have to face at some point in life. The people we care about the most can sometimes be the ones who bring the most harm. It's not always obvious and it's not always intentional, but there are forces within the people around you that can sabotage your peace, your joy, and even your future. We're talking about the demons in your life, and not the kind you might find in dark tales or fantasy stories, but the ones disguised as friends, family, or even close acquaintances. These demons don't wear horns or carry pitchforks. They wear the mask of those closest to you. They speak your language, share your history, and often present themselves as your greatest supporters. But in truth, they feed on your weaknesses, your doubts, and your vulnerabilities. They are the people who pretend to have your best interests at heart while subtly poisoning your spirit. It's easy to overlook these toxic forces when they come wrapped in the comfort of familiarity. You trust them because they are a part of your life, your family, your childhood friends, the people you've known for years. But deep down, something isn't right. You can feel it. They seem to leave you drained, confused, and questioning yourself. The worst part? You may start doubting your own intuition, wondering if you're imagining things. But let me tell you this. If something feels wrong, it is. Your instincts are your first line of defense. The problem is, these demons have a way of getting under your skin, making you second-guess yourself and even make you feel guilty for your suspicions. They manipulate the very bonds of trust, turning love into control and care into cruelty. And because they know you so well, they know exactly how to break you down without you even realizing it. Now here's the truth. You need to hurt these demons don't always show themselves in dramatic ways. They don't always scream or throw tantrums. Sometimes they simply chip away at your confidence, your peace, and your happiness bit by bit. It could be the way they belittle your accomplishments, make you feel unworthy, or plant seeds of doubt in your mind. It could be the way they try to pull you into their drama, or how they keep you from growing by feeding you fear and insecurity. Here's the catch. You don't have to tolerate it. You have the power to see these demons for who they really are, and more importantly, to protect yourself from their toxic influence. In this video, you're going to learn how to spot the sign show, to recognize the subtle warning signals that show you when someone in your circle is not who they pretend to be. Stay with me until the end, and you'll walk away with the tools to recognize these hidden forces in your life and take action to reclaim your peace, your strength, and your life. So, are you ready to face the truth? Are you prepared to see the demons for who they really are? Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll have the clarity you need to protect yourself from the people who are holding you back. Let's dive in. When you think of someone toxic, what comes to mind? You might picture an explosive person, someone who shouts and screams. But the truth is, toxicity doesn't always come with loud noises. In fact, it often sneaks in quietly, wearing a smile and offering comforting words. Toxic people have perfected the art of manipulation. They know how to present themselves as kind, loving, and supportive, while their true intentions are hidden in plain sight. The psychology of a toxic person is rooted in control. They want power over your thoughts, your decisions, your actions. The subtlety of their methods is what makes them so dangerous. They don't demand control outright. No, they weave it into the fabric of your daily interactions until you're left questioning your own choices, your self-worth, and your ability to trust anyone. It's the perfect storm. You're dealing with someone who is so skilled at pretending to care that you never see the manipulation coming. They start with small gestures, like offering advice that feels like love, but with an underlying message of, you're not enough as you are. They might tell you to be careful or warn you about risks, but when you dig deeper, you realize they're not concerned for your well-being. They're focused on your dependence on them. The advice isn't to help you. It's to keep you feeling small, weak, and unsure of yourself. And over time, you begin to question every decision you make, afraid of upsetting them or falling short of their expectations. This is the psychology behind toxicity: slow, methodical erosion of your confidence disguised as concern. They make you doubt your own instincts, your own judgment. They present themselves as the only ones who truly understand you, and in doing so, they place themselves on a pedestal, making you feel inferior, dependent, and vulnerable. It's not about direct attack or confrontation. It's about control through emotional manipulation. They want you to feel uncertain, to feel as though you cannot stand on your own without them. And the worst part? You might not even notice it happening until it's too late. You begin to shrink, giving away pieces of your power, your strength, and your happiness without even realizing it. Their power over you grows, and your power over yourself diminishes. These toxic individuals understand that people like you, people with ambition, vision, and the desire to grow, are at risk of becoming their next target. They know that the most dangerous thing to them is your strength. They fear your independence, your ability to rise above them. So they use your vulnerabilities, your doubts, your fears, your insecurities to pull you back down. They want to make sure you never reach your full potential, because the moment you do, you won't need them anymore. But the truth is, you don't need them. You never did. The moment you recognize their manipulation for what it is, you regain control. You can see through the masks they wear, and you'll stop believing that their words come from a place of love or concern. You'll understand that their intentions are designed to keep you in a state of weakness, and you'll be strong enough to break free. Recognizing the psychology behind these toxic people is the first step to regaining your power. Once you understand how they operate, their manipulations won't work as effectively. You will no longer be the victim of their control. You will stand firm in your own truth, and you will no longer allow anyone to make you question your worth or your place in this world. When you see the signs of manipulation, when you feel that creeping sense of doubt or guilt creeping in after every conversation with them, it's time to make a choice. Are you going to continue allowing them to control you, or will you step into your power and take back what is rightfully yours? The real power lies in your awareness. The moment you see the game they're playing, the moment you recognize the psychology behind their actions, you take away their ability to control you. And that is where your true strength begins. Have you ever noticed how some people have this uncanny ability to make you feel guilty for things you haven't done? Or how, no matter what you do, it always feels like it's never good enough for them? This is the power of manipulation. Manipulation is a tool used by toxic people to keep you in a state of emotional control, where your every thought and action is influenced by their desires, their needs, and their demands. At first, manipulation can feel harmless, even loving. They might present themselves as the person who's always there for you, the one who just wants the best for you. But what's really happening is a much darker game. Manipulators twist your sense of right and wrong, turning every situation into something that works in their favor. They use your emotions, your vulnerabilities, and your love for them against you. It doesn't happen all at once. Manipulation is gradual, like the boiling of a frog in water, so slow that you don't even notice until it's too late. One moment, they might express concern over your choices, making you second-guess yourself. Are you sure that's a good idea? They might ask, planting the seed of doubt. The next moment, they'll offer you advice, but it comes wrapped in a criticism that stings more than a direct attack. Slowly, you begin to internalize their words, questioning your own actions, your own self-worth. And it doesn't stop there. Manipulators thrive on guilt. They make you feel responsible for their feelings, their actions, even their happiness. When they're upset, it's your fault. When things go wrong, it's because you didn't do enough, say enough, or give enough. The guilt becomes so heavy that you start to believe that everything you do or don't do has a direct impact on their well-being. They hold up their emotional state like a mirror, and you find yourself constantly trying to fix it, constantly trying to please them, just to ease your own conscience. But let me make this clear. Their unhappiness is not your responsibility. Their emotional turmoil is not a reflection of your worth or your actions. And the sooner you recognize this, the sooner you'll be able to break free from the chains of manipulation. Manipulators also thrive on keeping you confused. They make you question reality, twisting the truth until you can no longer tell if what you're feeling is valid. They'll deny things they've said or done, making you wonder if you're just imagining things. I never said that. They'll claim, even though you know you heard it, or they'll downplay their actions, making you feel like you're overreacting. They'll use your emotions against you, making you feel like you're too sensitive, too dramatic, too irrational. But here's the truth. Your feelings are valid. Your instincts are real. If something feels wrong, it is wrong. Don't let them make you doubt yourself. They want to keep you questioning everything so that they can maintain control over you. It's important to remember that manipulators rely on one thing above all, your empathy. They know you care. They know you want to help, to fix things, to make people happy, and that's where they strike. They play on your desire to make things right, using your compassion as a tool to get what they want. They twist your love into a weapon that makes you believe you're the one who's responsible for their happiness or their problems. Once you realize how deep the manipulation goes, you can start to take back control. You begin to see their patterns, their tricks, and you stop falling for them. You stop doubting yourself. You stop feeling guilty for things that aren't yours to own. The truth is, manipulators only have power as long as you allow them to. The moment you take back your sense of self, the moment you refuse to play their game, they lose their grip. And that's when you regain your strength, your peace, and your life. Have you ever spent time with someone and left feeling completely drained, like you've just given away all your energy without receiving anything in return? You may have felt physically exhausted, mentally foggy, or emotionally spent. That's because emotional drainage is one of the most powerful tools toxic people use to control and manipulate others. It's subtle yet incredibly effective. When someone drains your energy, they aren't just demanding your time. They're taking something much deeper, your emotional vitality. You'll notice it in the way they constantly need attention, validation, or reassurance. They might seem like they're just venting or needing someone to talk to, but in reality, they are consuming you. They don't just want your listening they want your emotional resources. And every time you give it to them, you feel a little less like yourself. At first, it might seem harmless. We all need to vent from time to time, right? It's natural to feel down or overwhelmed, and it's normal to seek support from the people we trust. But when you're constantly the one who's giving and never receiving, something deeper is at play. A toxic person will never truly be satisfied. They will never feel better because their emotional needs are insatiable. They're like a bottomless pit, constantly pulling at you to fill them up, leaving you with nothing in return. One of the signs of emotional drainage is when your conversations always center around them. Every interaction becomes about their problems, their issues, their emotions. You find yourself constantly trying to solve their problems, calm their fears, or lift them up. But no matter how much energy you put into it, it's never enough. The more you give, the more they take, and the less you have left for yourself. You'll also notice that after spending time with these people, your own thoughts become clouded. You start to feel unsure of yourself, anxious, or overwhelmed. They've taken so much from you that you're left questioning your own emotional state. You might even feel like you're walking on eggshells, constantly adjusting your actions to avoid triggering their emotional outbursts or reactions. Another common sign of emotional drainage is when your boundaries are continually pushed. Toxic people will test your limits, often in small ways at first, to see how much they can take from you. It might start with them asking for small favors or constantly needing help. But over time, these demands will become bigger and more unreasonable. They don't care about your own emotional needs. They only care about fulfilling their own. And they will not stop until you've given everything you have to offer. The worst part is that you might feel guilty for feeling drained. They might make you feel like you're being selfish for needing space or for not being able to handle their constant demands. They make you question your own ability to love and care, all while continuing to take from you. But the truth is, you have every right to protect your own emotional well-being. You are not obligated to give until there's nothing left of yourself. If you're finding yourself constantly drained by someone, it's time to take a step back and evaluate the relationship. Ask yourself, are they giving as much as they take? Are your emotional needs being met, or are you constantly sacrificing your peace for theirs? If the answer is no, it's time to set boundaries and start protecting your energy. Remember, you are not a battery for someone else to drain. You are a human being with your own needs, desires, and limits. Protect your energy like it's the most valuable resource you have, because it is. Your peace of mind, your emotional health, and your ability to grow and thrive depend on it. If someone is continuously draining you, it's not your responsibility to fix them. Your responsibility is to yourself. You deserve to be around people who uplift you, who give as much as they take, and who leave you feeling energized, not exhausted. Have you ever felt like you were being blamed for something you didn't do? Or like you were constantly walking on eggshells, fearing that a small mistake would lead to an emotional outburst or punishment? This is a classic sign of guilt manipulation, a toxic tactic that makes you feel responsible for things that aren't your fault, forcing you to carry a weight that isn't yours to bear. The key to understanding guilt manipulation is realizing that it's never really about what you did. It's about the way the manipulator wants you to feel. They will twist situations, distort facts, and use emotional triggers to make you feel guilty for not meeting their expectations. They'll make you feel like you owe them something, like your worth is directly tied to their happiness. And when you don't fulfill their desires, they will use guilt as a weapon to make you feel small, inferior, and unworthy. It starts in subtle ways. A toxic person might say things like, "I thought you cared about me," or "After everything I've done for you, this is how you repay me." These are calculated statements designed to create a sense of obligation in you. They make you feel like you've let them down, even when your actions haven't warranted such a response. Over time, you begin to internalize these words. You start questioning your own intentions, wondering if you truly are as selfish or uncaring as they suggest. The beauty of guilt manipulation is that it doesn't need to be loud. It's quiet, almost whisper-like, and it wears you down slowly. Every time you give in to their guilt, every time you adjust your behavior to please them, you reinforce the belief that they are the center of your world. You are constantly preoccupied with their emotions, always trying to fix their unhappiness, make them feel better, or meet their ever-growing needs. And with every concession, they gain more control over you. What makes guilt manipulation even more dangerous is the way it manipulates your sense of morality. It makes you believe that by resisting their demands, you are doing something wrong. You feel like you're being selfish for wanting to prioritize your own needs, your own goals, your own happiness. The manipulator is brilliant at making you feel like it's your duty to sacrifice your own well-being for theirs. This creates a vicious cycle. Every time you try to break free, every time you set a boundary or refuse to comply with their demands, they bring out the guilt card. And every time you give in, you lose a little more of yourself while they gain more of your power. But here's the truth. You are not responsible for their happiness. You are not obligated to make them feel better or to meet their every need, especially when it comes at the cost of your own peace. Guilt manipulation only works as long as you allow it. The moment you recognize it for what it is, the moment you stop taking on the burden of their emotions, you begin to regain your power. To break free from guilt manipulation, you need to learn to trust yourself. You need to believe that your feelings, your needs, and your boundaries are just as valid as theirs. You don't need to explain or justify why you say no, or why you choose to take care of yourself instead of constantly putting them first. You don't owe anyone your peace, your energy, or your happiness. The moment you stop accepting the blame for things that aren't your fault is the moment you take control of your own life again. It's a hard truth to swallow, but once you accept it, you'll find freedom. You'll realize that your worth is not tied to someone else's emotions, and your happiness is not dependent on their approval. You are allowed to live for yourself, to set boundaries, and to walk away from people who try to manipulate you with guilt. You are allowed to be free. Have you ever shared your dreams or ambitions with someone only to be met with doubt or discouragement? Maybe they didn't come out and tell you that you couldn't achieve your goals, but instead subtly undermined your confidence, sowing seeds of doubt in your mind. This is the silent sabotage that toxic people often engage in. They don't want to see you succeed, especially if it threatens their sense of control over you. At first, it might seem like innocent remarks or concern for your well-being. They might say things like, "That's a big risk. Are you sure you can handle it?" Or, "Not everyone makes it. You have to be realistic. On the surface, these comments seem like friendly advice, but underneath, they carry the weight of their own insecurities. They are projecting their fears onto you, hoping to keep you from pursuing something that could set you free. Silent sabotage isn't always obvious. It's often disguised as concern, advice, or even jealousy. But the underlying goal is always the same: to hold you back, to make you question your abilities, and to prevent you from achieving your full potential. It's not that these people are necessarily malicious. They may genuinely believe they're protecting you, but in reality, their words reflect their own limitations, not yours. One of the most common ways people sabotage your success is by minimizing your achievements. You tell them about a recent accomplishment, and instead of celebrating with you, they downplay it. They might say, "It's not that big of a deal," or "Anyone could have done that." These comments are designed to make you feel like your hard work isn't worth celebrating, that your success is invalid. They want to keep you in a place of doubt and insecurity where you don't feel worthy of your accomplishments. Another form of silent sabotage comes from their actions or lack thereof. They might pretend to be supportive, but when the time comes to show up for you, they're nowhere to be found. When you need help or encouragement, they might make excuses or turn the conversation back to themselves. This subtle neglect can leave you feeling isolated and unsupported, even when you've been there for them time and time again. It's important to recognize that toxic people often try to sabotage your success because they are threatened by your potential. They see you striving for something better, and that makes them uncomfortable. Your growth reminds them of their own stagnation, their own unfulfilled dreams. Rather than face their own limitations, they project them onto you, making you question if you're truly capable of achieving what you set out to do. The danger of this silent sabotage is that it can easily go unnoticed, especially if you care about the person. You might brush off their remarks or actions as nothing more than harmless concern, but over time, these small negative seeds take root, and they can slowly erode your belief in yourself. To protect yourself from this kind of sabotage, you need to strengthen your sense of self-worth. You must learn to trust your instincts, believe in your abilities, and never allow someone else's doubts to dictate your path. Your dreams are yours for a reason, and you have everything within you to make them a reality. Don't let anyone dim your light or make you second-guess your worth. If someone in your life is subtly sabotaging your success, you don't owe them your energy, your time, or your attention. You don't need to justify your dreams or explain why you're working toward them. Your success doesn't threaten anyone, and it certainly doesn't require anyone's permission. Remember, your growth is a reflection of your strength. Don't let anyone make you feel like you're too ambitious or that your success isn't valid. Keep moving forward, despite the doubters and the naysayers. And don't allow anyone to quietly sabotage what you know you're capable of. You deserve every success, and no one has the right to take that away from you. Have you ever felt like someone in your life needs you in a way that feels unhealthy? Maybe they constantly rely on you for their emotional support, their happiness, or their sense of security. They come to you with problem after problem, and before you know it, you're carrying the weight of their struggles on your shoulders. This is the cycle of dependency, and it's one of the most dangerous traps toxic people set to keep you tethered to them. The cycle of dependency begins subtly, almost imperceptibly. It might start with small requests for help, like needing someone to talk to or asking for a favor. But over time, these requests grow bigger. They begin to lean on you for emotional stability, for validation, for comfort, almost as though you're the only person who can fill the emptiness they feel inside. At first, you might not mind helping. You love them, you care about them, and you want to be there for them. But over time, you begin to realize that you're always the one giving and they're always the one taking. What's dangerous about the cycle of dependency is that it doesn't just drain you emotionally, it also stifles your growth. Every time you put their needs before your own, you delay your own progress. You stop focusing on your own goals, your own dreams, and your own happiness. Instead, you become consumed by their problems. You start thinking that it's your responsibility to fix everything, to make them happy, to make their world right. But the truth is, their happiness is not yours to carry. This cycle of dependency also feeds on guilt. They make you feel like it's selfish to focus on yourself. They make you feel like you're abandoning them if you set boundaries, if you say no, or if you prioritize your own well-being. You begin to feel like you're not allowed to take time for yourself because you're too busy fixing their problems. You may even feel trapped, like you can't break free from their constant need for support. But here's the thing you need to understand. You are not responsible for someone else's emotional state. You cannot carry their happiness on your shoulders. They are responsible for their own growth and healing, just as you are responsible for yours. And the more you try to fix them, the more you enable their dependency. The more you give in to their constant demands, the more they rely on you. It's a never-ending loop that leaves you exhausted, unfulfilled, and stuck in a cycle of emotional exhaustion. To break the cycle of dependency, you need to start setting boundaries. You need to make it clear that while you care for them, their problems are not yours to solve. You need to remind them that it's okay for them to work through their own issues, to seek help elsewhere, and to take responsibility for their own emotional well-being. It's not selfish to prioritize yourself. It's necessary for your own growth and happiness. When you stop enabling someone's dependency, it's not about rejecting them, it's about empowering them. It's about giving them the opportunity to find their own strength, to solve their own problems, and to grow as an individual. And in turn, it gives you the freedom to focus on your own life, your own journey, and your own growth. Breaking free from the cycle of dependency isn't easy. It requires strength, self-awareness, and the courage to put yourself first. But once you do, you'll find that you have more energy, more clarity, and more space to pursue your own dreams. You'll begin to realize that you're not meant to be someone else's emotional crutch, and that your happiness doesn't depend on carrying the weight of someone else's problems. You are not responsible for their emotional health, but you are responsible for yours. And when you take charge of your own well-being, you not only free yourself, but you also give them the chance to break free too. Flattery can be a dangerous weapon in the hands of someone with ulterior motives. At first glance, it may seem harmless. Compliments make us feel good, they boost our self-esteem, and they can even inspire us to do better. But when used covertly, flattery becomes a manipulation tool, a way for toxic people to control and influence your behavior. You've probably experienced it before. Someone showers you with praise and makes you feel like you're on top of the world. They might say, "You're so smart, I don't know what I'd do without you," or "You're one of the few people who truly understands me." These compliments feel nice, don't they? They make you feel appreciated, admired, even valued. And that's exactly what makes them dangerous. What many people fail to recognize is that flattery isn't always sincere. It can be used as a strategic move to get something from you. Toxic individuals know that if they make you feel good about yourself, you'll be more likely to let your guard down and do what they want. They use flattery to gain your trust, to soften your defenses, and to make you feel indebted to them. It's a subtle form of control, but it works because you feel like they genuinely appreciate you, so you're more likely to give them what they ask for. The danger of flattery lies in its subtlety. It's easy to overlook because it often comes in the form of praise, admiration, and validation. You think you're just being appreciated, when in reality, they're setting you up for something more. And the more you buy into their praise, the more likely you are to fall into their trap. They know that the more you seek validation, the more you'll seek them out for it. They know that if they give you just enough flattery, they can keep you hooked. It doesn't stop there. Once they've gained your trust through flattery, they'll often turn the tables on you. After making you feel like you owe them something, they'll ask for favors or manipulate you into doing things that benefit them. They might even guilt trip you into complying by reminding you how much they've done for you. This is how they keep you in a cycle of dependency, subtly reinforcing their control over your actions. So how can you spot this covert manipulation? The key is to pay attention to the timing and context of the flattery. Is it coming after you've said something that benefits them? Are they offering praise when they're trying to get you to do something for them? Are they using your vulnerabilities against you to make you feel special, only to ask for something in return? Recognizing the covert use of flattery requires self-awareness. It's important to trust your instincts And be cautious when someone's praise seems too exaggerated or when it's given at the exact moment they want something from you. True admiration is never conditional. It doesn't come with hidden strings attached. If their compliments make you feel like you owe them, or if you start noticing that you're giving more than you're receiving, that's a red flag. The first step to protecting yourself is learning to appreciate your own worth. When you truly know your value, you won't be as easily swayed by compliments or false flattery. You'll recognize when someone is using praise to manipulate you, and you'll be able to set boundaries to prevent them from taking advantage of your good nature. You must also learn to be assertive. When you sense that flattery is being used as a tool to gain control over you, don't be afraid to push back. It's okay to decline requests that make you uncomfortable, even if they come after a flurry of compliments. Stand firm in your boundaries, and remember that you don't owe anyone your time, your energy, or your resources just because they flattered you. In the end, the best way to protect yourself from the covert use of flattery is to build a strong sense of self-worth and never rely on others for validation. True self-esteem comes from within. It's about knowing your value without needing others to tell you. When you're secure in who you are, no amount of flattery can manipulate you into compromising your principles or sacrificing your peace. Generosity is often viewed as a virtue, and it's easy to see why. When someone goes out of their way to offer help, give a gift, or show kindness, it feels good. It builds trust and strengthens relationships. However, in the hands of toxic individuals, generosity can be weaponized to manipulate and control. Have you ever experienced a situation where someone was overly generous, almost to the point of making you uncomfortable? Perhaps they bought you an extravagant gift, paid for something expensive, or constantly offered to help you, but there was a sense that their kindness came with an unspoken expectation. At first, you might have been grateful, even flattered. But over time, you began to feel that their generosity wasn't as selfless as it seemed. This is a common tactic used by toxic individuals to gain power over you. Their generosity comes with strings attached. They might act as if they're doing something for you out of the goodness of their heart, but in reality, they expect something in return. The moment you accept their gifts or their help, they have established a silent debt that they can later use to their advantage. When they want something from you, they'll remind you of how much they've done for you, how much they've given you, and how you now owe them. The hidden agenda behind their generosity often goes unnoticed because it's cloaked in the appearance of selflessness. They make you feel as though you're lucky to have someone so generous in your life. But the truth is, their generosity is not about you, it's about maintaining control. They want to ensure that you feel indebted to them so that when the time comes, they can cash in on that debt. This type of manipulation isn't always immediate. It can take time to manifest, especially if they're playing the long game. They'll continuously offer small favors or gifts, making you feel increasingly dependent on them. At first, you might brush it off, thinking nothing of it. But as these acts of generosity pile up, so does the pressure to repay them in ways that you never agreed to. The manipulation becomes even more insidious when they start leveraging your guilt. When they feel like you're pulling away or starting to create distance, they will remind you of everything they've done for you. They will say things like, "After all I've done for you, I can't believe you turn your back on me," or "I've always been there for you and now you can't even return the favor." This emotional manipulation is designed to make you feel like you can't say no, to make you feel guilty for wanting to protect your own boundaries. So how can you spot this hidden agenda behind someone's generosity? The first clue is if their kindness comes with an expectation that you return the favor often without you even realizing it. If their actions seem like they're trying to create an emotional debt, or if they make you feel like you owe them in ways that don't feel comfortable, then their generosity is more about control than goodwill. It's important to recognize that true generosity doesn't come with conditions. Genuine kindness is given freely, without strings attached, and without any expectation of something in return. When someone is truly generous, they don't make you feel guilty for accepting their help, nor do they ever bring it up later as a way to manipulate you into doing something for them. The best way to protect yourself from this type of manipulation is by staying mindful of your boundaries. You don't owe anyone your time, your energy, or your resources simply because they've given you something. If you feel that someone is using generosity to manipulate you, It's okay to graciously decline their offers or return the favor on your own terms without feeling guilty. Remember, your worth is not defined by your ability to repay someone's generosity. You are not obligated to meet anyone's demands simply because they gave you something. Take control of your own life by recognizing when someone's generosity is actually a form of manipulation. Stand firm in your boundaries and never let anyone make you feel like you owe them something for simply being kind. True generosity doesn't seek repayment. It's about lifting others up without expecting anything in return. Don't let anyone use their gifts as a way to control your actions or make you feel small. You deserve relationships where kindness is given freely, without hidden agendas or manipulation. Have you ever been in a situation where someone constantly made you doubt your own perception of reality? They twist your words, deny your experiences, and make you feel like you're the one who's losing your mind. This is gaslighting, a psychological manipulation technique used by toxic individuals to destabilize you, control your thoughts, and make you question your own sanity. Gaslighting is one of the most dangerous tactics used by manipulators because it's designed to break down your confidence in your own reality. It starts subtly. At first, it may be small, insignificant comments that don't seem to make much of an impact. Perhaps they deny something that you know for certain happened, or they act as if they didn't hear something you clearly said. Over time, these actions add up, causing you to doubt your own memory, your judgment, and even your sense of self. One of the most common forms of gaslighting is the manipulation of facts. Toxic people will flat out deny things that are right in front of you. If you bring up a conversation you had, they'll deny it ever happened. If you address an issue, they'll twist your words or make you feel like you're overreacting. They might even go as far as to turn the situation around and accuse you of being the one who's confused or forgetful. Slowly, this begins to erode your confidence in your own perceptions. You start to second guess yourself, wondering if maybe you're remembering things wrong, or if perhaps you're being too sensitive. But gaslighting doesn't stop at denying facts. It can also involve isolating you from other people who might help you see the truth. Toxic individuals know that if they can make you question your own reality, they can control how you see everything. They might tell you that everyone else thinks you're wrong, or that people have been talking behind your back, sowing seeds of doubt about those who could be a support system for you. By isolating you, they ensure that they are the only one you turn to for answers, creating an environment where they hold all the power. The most insidious part of gaslighting is how it distorts your sense of self. Over time, you begin to lose confidence in your own thoughts and feelings. You might feel confused, helpless, or even unsure of who you are. Toxic individuals know this and they use it to their advantage. They thrive on making you feel dependent on them for your emotional stability and sense of truth. They want to control the narrative, and they do this by making you question everything, especially yourself. It's essential to understand that gaslighting is never your fault. No one has the right to make you question your reality, to manipulate your emotions, or to turn the truth against you. The first step in protecting yourself from gaslighting is to recognize it for what it is. If someone consistently denies your experiences, makes you feel crazy for expressing yourself, or twists your words, you are being gaslighted. The second step is to trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right, if you feel like you're being manipulated, trust that feeling. Your emotions and experiences are valid, and you deserve to be treated with respect. Keep track of the conversations you have, especially if you feel like someone is trying to manipulate your reality. Write things down if you need to, so you can refer back to them later when your memory is questioned. Another way to protect yourself from gaslighting is by seeking support from others. Talk to friends, family members, or even a therapist about your experiences. Having outside perspectives will help you see the truth when it's being distorted. And remember, toxic people may try to make you feel like everyone is against you, but that's just another way to isolate you and maintain control. Stay connected with those who genuinely care about you and who will help you hold on to your truth. Lastly, it's crucial to set boundaries with gaslighters. Don't allow them to manipulate your reality or make you feel small. If someone is constantly trying to twist the truth, calmly stand your ground and refuse to engage in their mind games. Your reality is yours, and you don't need to justify or explain your experiences to anyone who refuses to acknowledge them. Breaking free from gaslighting takes strength, but it's possible. It requires courage to trust yourself and stand up for your truth, even when others try to make you doubt it. Remember, you are not crazy. You are not overreacting, and your perceptions are valid. You deserve to live in a reality where your thoughts, feelings, and experiences are respected. Don't let anyone take that away from you. Have you ever met someone who appeared to be perfect on the outside? Someone who seemed to have it all together, charming, confident, successful, but deep down you sensed something was off. It's as if they had mastered the art of hiding their true intentions behind a flawless exterior. This is the narcissistic smokescreen. Narcissists are experts at creating an illusion of perfection, and they use this facade to manipulate and control those around them. At first, their charm is magnetic. They know how to make you feel special, how to make you feel like you're the only person in the room. Their compliments are flattering, their attention overwhelming. They know exactly what to say to make you feel like you're the most important person in life. And when you're around them, it feels like you've found someone who truly understands you, someone who values you in ways that no one else does. But this is just a smokescreen. Behind the charm and flattering words lies a deeper, more dangerous reality. Narcissists don't truly care about you. They don't value you for who you are. They value you for how you can serve their needs. They have an insatiable need for validation, admiration, and control, and they'll do whatever it takes to get it. Their charm is just the bait, a tactic they use to reel you in and make you believe they care. Once they have you hooked, the true nature of their intentions begins to show. The first sign that you're dealing with a narcissist is that everything they do is self-serving. They'll make grand gestures of kindness, but it's always with the expectation that you will return the favor. Even better, praise them for their generosity. Their compliments are never just about you. They are about how their actions make them look. They want to be admired, to be seen as the hero in every situation. But as soon as the admiration fades, so does their interest in you. Narcissists have a limited emotional bandwidth, and if you're not feeding their need for validation, they will quickly lose interest in you. Another key trait of narcissists is their lack of empathy. They don't truly care about your feelings or needs unless it serves their agenda. If you're going through a tough time, they'll listen, but only to find a way to turn the conversation back to themselves. They will offer advice that always centers on them or their experience, as if your struggles are merely an opportunity for them to shine. Their support is conditional. If you don't show enough appreciation or admiration, their attention will quickly shift elsewhere. Narcissists are also incredibly skilled at manipulating your emotions. They will use guilt, shame, and fear to get what they want from you. They'll make you feel like you owe them something, even if you've done nothing wrong. If you ever try to assert your boundaries or stand up for yourself, they'll use tactics like gaslighting or emotional blackmail to make you feel bad for even thinking about rejecting their demands. They will make you question your worth and your place in the relationship, all in an effort to maintain control. One of the most damaging aspects of the narcissistic smokescreen is how it impacts your self-esteem. At first, it might feel like you're receiving all the love and attention you've always wanted. But over time, as the narcissist's true intentions become clearer, you start to realize that their affection isn't genuine. It's a calculated effort to keep you hooked, to keep you dependent on their approval. And as you start to pull away or question their motives, they will do everything they can to keep you under their influence. Recognizing the narcissistic smokescreen is the first step in protecting yourself. You need to be able to see beyond their charm and flattery and start recognizing the signs of manipulation. Pay attention to how they make you feel. Do you feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells trying to please them? Do you feel like your own needs are always secondary to theirs? If so, it's time to reevaluate the relationship and ask yourself if it's truly serving you. The next step is setting boundaries. Narcissists thrive on people who are afraid to say no, who are afraid to assert their needs. But when you stand firm in your boundaries, you take back control of the relationship. You teach them that their manipulation won't work on you. You deserve to be in relationships where your needs are just as important as theirs, where your worth is never questioned, and where genuine care and respect are mutual. It's important to remember that narcissists will not change. They are not interested in personal growth or self-improvement. They are interested in maintaining their image and feeding their ego. If someone is using a smokescreen to hide their true intentions, it's not your job to fix them. It's your job to protect yourself. Recognize the signs, trust your instincts, and never let anyone use you as a pawn in their game of self-validation. You are worthy of love and respect, and you don't need to tolerate manipulation to feel valued. Have you ever been around someone who on the surface seems supportive, yet you can't shake the feeling that they're secretly rooting against you? They smile, they compliment you, but there's something behind their eyes that doesn't quite add up. That something is jealousy disguised under the cloak of fake friendship, subtle digs, and backhanded compliments. It's easy to dismiss these signs, especially when they come from those closest to you. But recognizing the hidden jealousy in your friends and family is vital for your peace of mind. Jealousy is an insidious emotion. It doesn't always manifest through overt actions or harsh words. Often it's quiet. It's the passive-aggressive comment disguised as a joke, the subtle undermining of your achievements, or the way someone always manages to one-up your successes. They seem to be happy for you, but deep down they feel threatened by your growth. This jealousy can exist in the most unexpected places in your family, among friends, and even within romantic relationships. What makes this kind of jealousy so dangerous is that it doesn't always show up as blatant negativity. Instead, it hides behind the guise of concern, advice, or innocent remarks that make you doubt yourself. Recognizing disguised jealousy requires tuning into subtle cues. Pay attention to how your achievements are received. When you share a success, whether it's a promotion, a new project, or personal growth, how does the person react? Are they genuinely happy for you? Or do they quickly shift the conversation to themselves as if your victory is just another opportunity for them to shine? Someone who truly supports you celebrates your wins, no matter how small. But a jealous person will feel the need to downplay your success, sometimes by bringing up someone else's accomplishments or by questioning whether you really deserve it. Another sign of hidden jealousy is when a person downplays your feelings or struggles. When you share something that's been difficult for you, they may dismiss it, offering overly simplistic solutions or telling you to get over it. At the same time, they might make your struggles about them, using your pain to validate their own insecurities. For example, if you're going through a tough time, they might make it about how hard their life is, subtly steering the conversation away from your needs and onto theirs. This shift in focus often leaves you feeling unsupported, even though the words they speak seem kind and caring. Jealousy also thrives in the form of comparison. If someone constantly compares your achievements to those of others, it's a red flag. They may frame their comparisons as advice, like, well, so-and-so did it this way, maybe you should try that, or you're doing great, but have you seen what so-and-so has accomplished? These comparisons are not meant to help you, they're designed to make you feel like you're falling short, that your success isn't enough. What they fail to understand is that your journey is unique, and comparing it to someone else's is not only unproductive but harmful. When jealousy is disguised as concern, it can be difficult to see. A jealous person may act like they're looking out for your best interests, giving unsolicited advice, or warning you of potential dangers, all while subtly undermining your confidence. For instance, they may tell you to be careful with your dreams, as if trying to protect you from failure. What they're really doing is projecting their own fear and insecurity onto you, making you question whether your aspirations are too big, too unrealistic, or too risky. They try to plant seeds of doubt, all while pretending to be your biggest supporter. In some cases, jealousy can even take the form of sabotage. This is when a person who is supposed to be on your side actively works against your success, though they try to hide it. They might speak negatively about you behind your back, subtly spreading rumors or casting doubt on your abilities. They may even sabotage opportunities, whether intentionally or unconsciously, by discouraging you from pursuing something you care about. This behavior can be tricky to spot because it's often masked as advice or help, but the intention behind it is to hold you back, not to push you forward. The best way to deal with disguised jealousy is to trust your instincts. If you ever feel that someone isn't celebrating your success or is downplaying your struggles, take a moment to assess their true intentions. Jealousy can only thrive in the shadows, so bringing it into the light can weaken its power. Stand firm in your achievements and don't let anyone minimize them, no matter how friendly their demeanor may seem. Boundaries are essential when dealing with jealous individuals. If someone consistently tries to diminish your success or undermine your confidence, it's okay to distance yourself. You don't need to explain your boundaries to anyone who refuses to respect them. True friends and family will support you unconditionally, without trying to make you feel less than or unworthy. Don't let someone's disguised jealousy poison your self-worth. Finally, remember that jealousy says more about the person feeling it than it does about you. It's a reflection of their own insecurities, fears, and limitations, not a true measure of your value or potential. You are worthy of all your successes and victories, and anyone who can't celebrate that with you is not someone you need in your life. Don't let disguised jealousy cloud your vision or hold you back. Keep moving forward, knowing that your growth and happiness are yours to claim. Have you ever noticed someone who constantly plays the victim no matter what the situation? They always have a story of how life is unfair, how everyone is against them, and how they are always the ones suffering. But if you take a closer look, you'll realize that their victimhood isn't genuine, it's a tactic. A manipulative person uses their self-proclaimed victim status to gain sympathy, control, and attention. They craft a narrative where they are always the one wronged, while subtly twisting the truth to manipulate the emotions of those around them. The manipulative victim is a master of playing on emotions. They've learned that people are more likely to respond with compassion and help when they feel sorry for someone. So, they make sure their stories are laced with just enough pain and hardship to trigger that sympathy. But their version of events is rarely the full truth. They may exaggerate or distort facts, leaving out key details to make themselves look like the innocent party. And while they paint themselves as helpless, they are in fact controlling the narrative, steering it in a direction that allows them to get what they want. The victimhood card is used to create a sense of obligation. They want you to feel like you owe them something, whether it's your time, energy, or resources. Every interaction with them feels like you're walking on eggshells, because they're always on the edge of emotional collapse. If you don't offer them support when they demand it, you risk becoming the next target of their guilt tripping. Their emotional manipulation isn't about healing or moving forward, it's about making you feel responsible for their problems. And once they've gained your sympathy, they use it as leverage, knowing that your empathy will make it harder for you to say no. One of the most dangerous aspects of the manipulative victim is how they create a false sense of powerlessness. They present themselves as though they have no control over their circumstances, as if life is something that happens to them, not something they can change or influence. This sense of helplessness is a lie. The manipulative victim has power. They just use it to keep others feeling sorry for them and to manipulate those around them into solving their problems. Their goal is not to heal or grow, but to keep the spotlight on their suffering, to create a narrative where they are always the one who needs saving. But here's the truth. A person who constantly plays the victim is not helpless. They are choosing to remain in that state because it benefits them. By refusing to take responsibility for their actions or make changes in their life, they keep you in a cycle of giving, of constantly trying to fix things for them. They use guilt and emotional pressure to make you feel like it's your job to make them happy or to solve their problems. And if you ever fail to do so, they will remind you of your shortcomings, making you feel like a failure or an uncaring person. Recognizing a manipulative victim can be difficult because they are so good at evoking empathy. They will try to convince you that they are in crisis, that they are going through something that no one else could possibly understand. But you must ask yourself, are they actively trying to resolve the situation, Or are they simply staying stuck in it, hoping someone else will come to their rescue? A person who genuinely needs help is open to solutions, is willing to work through their struggles, and is willing to take responsibility for their own healing. The manipulative victim, on the other hand, thrives on drama, thrives on being saved, and thrives on keeping people in a state of constant worry. Another red flag to watch for is their lack of gratitude. While they may express appreciation for your help in the moment, it never feels genuine. They're not truly grateful for your support. They're simply using it as a means to an end. Once they've drained you of your energy or resources, they'll move on to the next person who is willing to play the role of savior. There is no real bond, no true sense of appreciation for what you've done. They're just using you as a stepping stone to get what they want. When dealing with a manipulative victim, you have to set clear boundaries. Understand that you are not responsible for fixing their life, no matter how much they may try to convince you otherwise. It's okay to help someone in need, but it's not your job to carry their burdens for them. Their suffering is not your fault, and it's not your responsibility to rescue them from their own choices. It's important to realize that constantly giving to a manipulative victim is a form of enabling, not helping. You may think that you're being kind by offering endless support, but in reality, you're preventing them from taking accountability for their actions and learning how to stand on their own 2 feet. The key to protecting yourself from emotional manipulation is recognizing that you deserve to have your own needs met too. You are not a tool for someone else's emotional stability. You are not here to fix their brokenness. And by continuing to enable their behavior, you are neglecting your own emotional health. Stand firm in your boundaries, and don't let guilt, pity, or sympathy pull you into their cycle of manipulation. Finally, remember that the manipulative victim isn't a victim at all. They have the power to change their circumstances, but they choose not to. Their suffering is self-imposed, and they want to keep you trapped in their web of guilt. Don't allow their emotional manipulation to rob you of your peace. Be kind, but also be discerning. Your energy is valuable, and it should be spent on relationships that are based on mutual respect, trust, and support, not on constant rescue missions that leave you feeling drained and unappreciated. Have you ever been around someone who, after just a few minutes in their company, you feel completely drained? It's like they have an energy about them that pulls you down, leaving you feeling exhausted, frustrated, or even emotionally empty. These people are known as energy drainers, and their presence in your life can be more harmful than you realize. While some people uplift you, fill you with positivity, and motivate you to be your best self, energy drainers do the opposite. They take, they demand, and they leave you feeling less than you were before. Energy drainers are not necessarily bad people. They may not even realize the effect they're having on you. But the truth is that they feed off the energy of others, often without offering anything in return. These individuals thrive on negativity, drama, and chaos. They may be the ones who constantly complain about their lives, perpetually focus on what's wrong, or draw you into endless conversations about their problems. No matter how much you try to help, they never seem to get better or take responsibility for their own situation. And when you try to make positive changes in your life, they pull you back into their negativity, almost as if they don't want you to succeed. At first, it might not be obvious that someone is an energy drainer. They might seem harmless, even charming. You might even feel sorry for them, thinking they need your support. But as time goes on, you begin to notice a pattern. Every time you spend time with them, you feel worse afterward. Maybe you feel overwhelmed by their constant need for attention. Or maybe you feel frustrated because no matter how much advice you offer, they never take action to improve their situation. It's like they're in a perpetual state of crisis, and you're expected to fix it. The key to recognizing energy drainers is in their inability or unwillingness to contribute positively to your life. They never seem to ask how you're doing, and if they do, it's usually a fleeting question before the conversation turns back to their problems. It's always about them. They monopolize conversations, leaving little room for your own thoughts or experiences. Even if you try to share something positive or exciting in your life, they'll quickly shift the focus back to their own struggles. Over time, this one-sided dynamic can leave you feeling emotionally exhausted. Energy drainers, often lack the ability to take responsibility for their lives. They have a habit of blaming others or external circumstances for their unhappiness. Their mindset is, it's not me, it's the world that's wrong. Instead of taking control of their situation, they passively wait for someone else to make things better. They may complain about their job, their relationship, or their financial situation, but never take any real steps to change things. It's not that they don't want things to improve, they do. But they refuse to put in the effort required to make real changes. Instead, they expect you to listen, fix, or carry the emotional weight for them. One of the most frustrating characteristics of energy drainers is their refusal to accept personal growth. They are often resistant to self-improvement, either because they are stuck in their victim mentality or because they feel powerless to make positive changes. When you try to encourage them to take action or suggest ways they can improve their circumstances, they respond with excuses or self-pity. Their mindset is fixed on what they cannot do rather than exploring what is possible. And even though they may appreciate your advice in the moment, they rarely act on it. Instead, they go back to their old habits and problems, keeping you in a cycle of frustration. This emotional drain isn't just tyrant, it can also be toxic. Over time, your own happiness and energy start to erode, and you might find yourself becoming less motivated, more stressed, or even anxious. Being around someone who constantly focuses on their problems, who expects you to solve them, and who refuses to take responsibility for their own life choices can leave you feeling powerless and stuck. You might even begin to feel that no matter how much you give, it's never enough. And that feeling of helplessness can cause your own sense of self-worth to falter. Recognizing the signs of an energy drainer is the first step toward protecting yourself from emotional depletion. If you find yourself constantly feeling drained, frustrated, or overwhelmed after spending time with someone, it's time to take a step back and evaluate the relationship. It's crucial to remember that your energy, time, and emotional well-being are valuable. You deserve relationships that uplift, support, and energize you, not ones that leave you feeling empty. The best way to deal with an energy drainer is to set boundaries. This can be difficult, especially if they are close to you, like a friend, family member, or partner. But in order to protect your own mental and emotional health, it's necessary to limit the time and energy you give to these individuals. This doesn't mean cutting them out of your life completely, but it does mean learning how to say no when their negativity becomes too much. Don't allow them to dictate your emotional state. You are allowed to prioritize your own happiness. And sometimes that means stepping away from people who consistently bring you down. Additionally, it's important to remember that you cannot fix everyone. An energy drainer is unlikely to change unless they decide to take responsibility for their own actions and make an effort to improve their lives. You cannot be their constant source of emotional support and expect to remain whole. Ultimately, the best way to protect your energy is to spend time with people who lift you up, who inspire you, and who contribute to your growth. Surround yourself with those who encourage you to be the best version of yourself, rather than those who leave you feeling less than. You owe it to yourself to conserve your energy and to invest it in relationships that nurture and empower you. Don't let energy drainers steal your joy, your peace, or your passion for life. Recognize the patterns, set your boundaries, and choose to spend your time with people who will help you rise higher, not drag you down. Now that you understand how to spot toxic individuals in your life, it's time to reflect on something deeply important: your own power. Recognizing the demons in others isn't enough. The true power lies in how you respond to them. You have the ability to control who enters your life, who gets your time, and most importantly, who gets your energy. The power to choose is yours, and when you make that choice wisely, you create a life full of peace, growth, and positive energy. There is no greater power than the ability to protect your inner world. No one has the right to disrupt your peace unless you allow them. By setting boundaries and making conscious decisions about who you let into your life, you are taking control of your mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. It's crucial to remember that you are not responsible for the actions or attitudes of others. You cannot control what other people do, but you can control how you react. You can choose to distance yourself from negativity and toxicity. You can choose to let go of relationships that drain you. And most importantly, you can choose to surround yourself with people who inspire you, support you, and help you become the best version of yourself. But here's the hard truth. Choosing your circle isn't always easy. It takes courage to set boundaries, especially with people you care about. But remember this. Real love and respect come from the ability to support each other's growth, not from enabling each other's dysfunction. If someone is consistently bringing negativity into your life, it's not about rejecting them, it's about accepting yourself. It's about recognizing that in order to thrive, you must protect your peace and preserve your energy. Your growth, your dreams, and your happiness depend on it. Don't wait for others to change in order for you to take control of your life. You are in charge. Start by evaluating the people around you. Are they contributing to your growth, or are they holding you back? Are they lifting you up, or are they draining you? Take a step back and assess where you stand in your relationships. You don't have to tolerate negative behavior. You don't have to put up with people who leave you feeling less than, who never bring positivity to the table, or who expect you to carry their emotional baggage. Take pride in your ability to protect your space. Know that you deserve more than just surviving, you deserve to thrive. You deserve relationships that empower you, that encourage your dreams, that make you feel strong and inspired. Life is too short to waste on people who drain you. Your peace, your mental health, and your growth matter more than their comfort. And once you realize this, the strength to make changes becomes clear. You can choose to cut ties with those who no longer serve you, and in doing so, you make room for those who will. Remember, it's not selfish to protect your peace. It's necessary. It's an act of self-love. And by doing this, you make room for the right people to come into your life, people who will add value, people who will challenge you to grow, people who will walk alongside you in your journey to greatness. So, make the decision now. Choose to be around people who encourage you, who help you rise higher, who bring positivity, who inspire you to become your best self. It's time to take control of your environment. It's time to embrace the power you already have. And remember, this isn't just about cutting people off. It's about choosing peace. It's about choosing you. As you move forward, know that every time you choose yourself, you're setting the foundation for a brighter, more powerful future. You are in charge of your destiny. And by making conscious choices about who you surround yourself with, you are making the best investment in your life. If you found this message valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay committed to protecting your peace and choosing your circle wisely. Your future self will thank you for it. Let's keep growing together. And remember, you have the power to make today the start of a new, powerful chapter in your life.